Hi, I'm Robyn Birkin, an ex-corporate marketer turned online business owner. I took everything I knew and created a six-figure life coaching business in the margins between nap times and a 9 to 5, and I'm here to share with you how you can do the same. Tune in as I share the raw and unfiltered truths, big lessons, and practical tips to help you build and grow a sustainable bread-winning business online that is both peaceful and profitable. Here, we dive deep into all things online courses, funnels, audience growth, and so much more. If that sounds like the things you want to learn, then welcome to Signature Online Course Secrets. Let's go.
So we have this thing that we talk about in the mastermind all the time, and it is that sometimes you figure out what you want by first figuring out what it is that you don't want, or you figure out what works by first figuring out what doesn't work. And in the same way that, let's say you and your husband are standing in the kitchen and you both are like, you know what, let's get takeaway tonight. And then he says to you, cool, what do you want? And you say, anything. And then he's like, how about sushi? No, I don't feel like sushi. Okay, what about burritos? No, I don't feel like burritos. Okay, what about fried chicken? And then you're like, no, I don't feel like fried chicken. Let's get Thai. It's the exact same thing so often in business. Sometimes we figure out what works by first seeing what doesn't work. And so if you are not in your business putting in the reps, putting things out there, trying and experimenting with new things until you find something that's like, yes, this feels good. And I'm talking about could be your offers, could be your messaging, could be your niche. Let's talk about like what you speak about on Instagram. You don't necessarily find out the answer from ruminating and ruminating and ruminating. You will find out the answer by spending 3 months with particular messaging related to your expertise and then see how you feel after that. But if you're not even getting to the point of putting things out there or trying, it's going to be really hard if all you do is continue thinking about things. So what does that have to do with today's episode? Well, in today's episode, I am going to let you learn from my fails, and I have some really important business lessons in my fails from 2024, some things that nobody really even knows about except for maybe a couple of people who were on my CEO Insights call for that month in the mastermind. So in today's episode, I'm going to talk about some of the fails that I had in 2024 and what are the lessons and what are the things that we might do differently in 2025 that you can then take away when we learn what doesn't work or learn the lessons. You can learn from my lessons and how you can apply that in your business. So I hope you love today's episode. Before we start, I want to signpost 2 quick things. So one of them is my 2025 peace and profit game plan. I went through at the end of 2024 and I had a look at from the insight of the containers that I was a part of behind the scenes, from my own business insights, from the insights of my clients, and I really had a look at consumer behavior, offers, what is working, what is not working, what is making people feel really heavy and what are the things in the messaging that is just not working and cutting the mustard anymore. And I put together this report. If you want to create a peace and profit business, what are the things that you should and shouldn't be investing your energy, messaging, offers into? And it's a free report. It's 24 pages, but so valuable and actionable. So if you'd like a copy of that, come and find me on Instagram. Let me know in the DMs that you would like a copy of the game plan, and I would be so happy to send that to you. It's completely free. The other thing that is coming up on the 4th of February, which you want to be a part of. I was just speaking about this in one of my peer masterminds, and it's called Batched Bootcamp. We've had this conversation in the mastermind. I'm hearing it all over socials. People are feeling exhausted and also just confused about what should we be doing on Instagram? It feels heavy. It feels hard to get to. We feel paralyzed by what we should be doing. And there's all of this noise about AI and how to use AI well, how to use AI ethically, how to actually get good outputs from AI. And what I would like to propose to you is that if you would like a business that delivers both peace and profit, in 2025 and you are active on Instagram. Now, this would also be relevant for other content platforms as well, but primarily thinking here of Instagram. If you wish to be consistent and active and grow on Instagram in 2025 with a strategy that uses AI well and that is batched. So think for the next 90 days. What would it feel like if from the 4th of February, you spent 2 weeks together with me, done with you in a boot camp style? You just got all of your Instagram content planned, done, and batched, and then for 3 months got to do whatever the F you wanted to do in your business because you knew that you had this consistency and this strategy that felt really peaceful. Nailed. And that's what I would love to invite you to do with me. So it starts on the 4th of February and it's called Batched Bootcamp. And that's what we're going to do together over 2 weeks. So not the full 2 weeks, but obviously you do need to allocate 20 minutes to come and join me for the lesson and the resources. And then you're going to go off and spend a little bit of time getting it sorted. It's not going to take all day for 2 weeks. It's not even going to be lessons for every day for 2 weeks. But over 2 weeks, you're just going to get it done for 3 months. So you're going to invest that 2 weeks with me amongst your other stuff and get it all done. Amazing, right? You would feel so peaceful. And if you've never batched before, allow this to change your life. And if you have batched before, think to the peace and the amount of stuff that you got done elsewhere when you had this batched. I so see this becoming a quarterly thing. So if you would like to join me for the Batched Bootcamp, then what I would encourage you to do is DM me on Instagram. I'm going to send you a link with a 50% discount coupon. Send me a DM at Robyn Birkin on Instagram. Let's hook you up. It is going to be Think 2, Instagram strategy, AI strategy, what works on Instagram, and getting it batched and done. What would that be worth to you? Surely in the thousands of dollars. It's not even close to that. DM me, I'll send you all the details and you can see if that's something you want to do. But it's called Batched Bootcamp and I would love for you to join me there. It starts on the 4th of February. So today's episode is all about my 2024 fails. And like I said, there's some things that are really behind the scenes. There's a couple of things that are a little bit vulnerable. So I'm going to share all of that with you. But if I look to 2024 as a whole, there were lots of highlights. I was actually really happily surprised by the year. I had shut down my life coaching business to go all in on this business at the end of 2023. So it was like I shut down everything and started again in many respects. And it was very nerve-wracking. There was a lot of self-trust that was involved in that decision. We ended the calendar year having had our best sales year ever. So that is in all of the years of running online businesses, I've come out of 2024 having had my best ever sales year. So there is a level of relief and celebration and pause for applause in that. But that doesn't mean that I did not work my butt off. It also took a lot of being humbled in 2024 and not assuming that because I had a really successful life coaching business that everything would work right off the bat or that everything, was successful, that I knew everything. That I had to be back in beginner shoes and I had to be so responsive to what was and wasn't working in the market. So I know that sometimes we think that, I should know better. I've been in this game or I've had a podcast or my Instagram used to kick off, that we can, number one, beat ourselves up about things, but number two, just expect that it works. And then when things don't work, feel, I don't know if entitled is the right word, but feel like it should work. And the reality is that we should all always put ourselves in beginner shoes and be really responsive to the messaging, because had I not listened to the feedback, had a look at the data, changed my messaging, hustled, pivoted and moved with the market in 2024, it wouldn't have been my best ever sales year. But it was because I was humbled and willing to put in the work that we landed with that result. So So a couple of other things that I feel like I nailed in 2024 before we get to the deep dive into my fails is number 2, I feel like we nailed lead magnets and most of our ads. I really pride myself on being a ninja at top of funnel marketing. So that is, like audience growth, visibility, lead generation, and putting together lead magnets. I really pride myself on that. And one of the biggest differentiators or core course promises that we have in the mastermind is that we'll teach you how to run really great and easy and simple Facebook ads. So loved that that was our reality in 2024. Almost all of our lead magnets did super well, and I was really proud of the value that each of those provided in the market too. The other thing that I feel like I nailed was parenting. We have a little girl who is neurodiverse. We changed schools this year. So by and large, I am heavy into parenting, and there was a lot going on in 2024. And I really feel like I had great strategies to help everyone regulate, to help find flow in our family dynamic, and to help our kids feel happy, rested, productive, making progress in their day-to-day. We are, touch wood, thriving as a family and a family dynamic. We are in the thick of a renovation. If you have a look at my Instagram, we've ripped up literally half of our backyard to put in a pool and a pool room and a proper garage. So not going to lie, that is not easy. I don't even think it's really easy on our relationship because we both are working really hard. We have our own jobs, and then because Ross will get home from work and then he's working on the renovation till like 8 o'clock at night, that means I am picking up extra responsibility in other areas such as doing all of the garden maintenance and everything like that. So we are both somewhat tired and we have our heads down and bums up just trying to get through the renovation. But by and large, as a family, as having changed schools this year, I feel like we did really, really well in terms of creating that harmony and that family dynamic and just peace in parenting in 2024. The next thing was I feel like I nailed the mastermind delivery and the support that we provide. And this is an ever evolving thing. So even if you were in the mastermind, I don't know, this time last year, it again is very different to what it will be in like February this year. It is continuing to evolve in terms of the resources that we provide, the motivation, the support and coaching that we provide. And I'm so proud of it. Like, I honestly feel that in the market, it represents exceptional value for money and almost like no other container that you've been a part of. And we continue to invest our time and energy into that. So think it's for women in business who want a $250,000 to $500,000 business in part-time hours with a lean team. So it is all about how can we work smarter, not harder, and have a really simple, low mental load business. So we are like, okay, how can we make this easier? So we have sales page templates. We have, like a course portal that you can just drop into your business. We have on-demand asynchronous coaching. We have a really beautiful and streamlined call calendar. Everything is about how we can support you to get the best result with the least amount of effort / energy / stress. And we are looking at, like how can we really leverage AI to support everyone in the mastermind? How can we gamify and add more celebration into the experience so that people are so driven to get the results? And I'm just excited. It lights me up every day to run this membership. I love every single one of our clients, and I really feel that we deliver a first-class experience and results within this mastermind. So I was so happy with that. Again, I was really happy with the support I received in my business in 2024. I was really intentional with the containers and programs that I joined in 2024. I have been a part for the last, 14 months in Ellie Swift's mastermind. It's a mastermind just for women who are at 100K plus. And I was really intentional about only joining a mastermind for women at that level. And I knew that she was a first-class operator. And so I was really happy with the support that I received. I think it's a myth that you should only join, a lot of people will talk to me about the mastermind and they're like, I just need to get through this launch, or I just need to get, like this to this level in the business, or, whatever it is. And that's not how I join containers. I specifically joined Ellie's container right when I shut down my main business, because I knew that I needed support in staying the course, in being able to rapidly pivot and see where the blind spots were. And so I didn't join because everything was working in my business. I joined because I needed, number one, like strategy support to find the product suite, the offers, the messaging, etc., that would work in this new business, because my business contributes to the wages and the mortgage in the household. So I didn't really feel like I had the luxury, especially with the expenses already of a multi-six-figure business, that I really had a big luxury to just start from zero. So I wanted that level of expertise and strategic support in order to support me in doing that. And so therefore, I didn't join a program because everything was great and rosy. I joined a program right at the point when my revenue was potentially going to go down to zero. It didn't, but, and that's because of owning my own expertise, but also the support that I received. I joined several other containers. That was probably the main one. And I was so happy that I welcomed in that support. Had I not had that high level of support, I'm not really sure what 2024 would have looked like, to be perfectly honest, because I needed also that sort of emotional support, or like a coach to hold me through such a significant change in my business. So that was all of the wins and the things I was super happy with. Now let me share with you the fails in my business in 2024. So number one was my podcast downloads. So if you have been here for a while, you know that I have another podcast called The Fertility Warriors. That podcast has something ridiculous. I don't even check anymore, but something in the vicinity of like 130,000 impressions per month, 5,000 downloads per episode, so nearly 20,000 downloads per month. It may have slowed down now. We haven't published an episode since August 2022, and it still continues to deliver that great level of discoverability and peaceful, evergreen, awareness or reach. So I thought when I launched the Signature Online Course Secrets podcast, it would all just be like piece of cake. I would reach 1 million downloads, in 2 seconds, because the Fertility Warriors has like way more than 1 million downloads. I was like, piece of cake, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. It has not been that easy. So I've had to hustle. In the last quarter of 2024, I really started paying attention to the podcast downloads with the view to increase that. And we tripled our impressions. And we're going up and up. We're definitely increasing the amount of followers and the reach of our podcast. And it's definitely a priority for 2025. But I was humbled at the difference in results for this podcast. And I definitely would count it in the bucket of fails and things that I really need to pour my attention into in 2025. And the spoiler alert is I'm going to go back to all of my lessons in my program Pop and Podcast, because it's literally the playbook for how you do that. We've had people undertake that course that are like, oh my God, like in 3 weeks, I doubled my downloads. And we've had people who have launched podcasts and had like 3,000 downloads almost instantly. So I have been going back to that playlist, and that's going to be an ongoing focus in 2025, because podcasts, while I don't feel they're a great lead generator, you would typically generate leads through things like Instagram, Pinterest, SEO, and Facebook ads. But they're a great nurturer. So once someone gets onto your email list or starts to follow you on Instagram, you want them to be nurtured with some form of authority-based long-form content. For me, that's this podcast. So it's really in my best interest for sales to grow the audience for the podcast. So major priority this year and a bit of a fail for 2024. Also my Instagram. But the caveat is that also I kind of don't care. So I knew that my Instagram would be not as engaged as it was when I was a life coach. Like I've fully changed over my audience and I'm getting probably 250 organic new followers per month onto the Instagram account, but nothing is, like I used to generate 7,000 likes per post or 2,000 likes per post, and I'd have some posts that would on their own hit the explore page and generate 1,000 followers. I'm not there yet with this account, and I honestly don't see, knowing the algorithm, how that would ever be possible on this account. So Instagram, while I would have loved to have either radically gone down and almost like cleansed my audience so that in 2025 I could radically increase it, or start just incrementally increasing my audience, but it kind of hasn't increased or decreased at the accelerated level that I would like. So Instagram is and isn't a focus for 2025. My philosophy is all about how to make Instagram like 10 times easier so that I can become more consistent. And already I've seen so much more success by going back to my 2022 strategy for Instagram. And I think we're going to see a lot of renaissance for that kind of Instagram strategy, and it's so much easier, allows you to be so much more consistent, gets better results. So that's like a watch this space, but I have high hopes for 2025 for my Instagram, and I dare say my Instagram is going to skyrocket in 2025 because of the new strategy that I'm using. If you peek my Instagram, you'll see quite a bit of a change. It's going to change a little bit more as I start to infuse more authority content. I'm on school holidays right now, so I'm doing like the bare minimum. But as soon as we start Instagram batched bootcamp, you'll better watch this space. The next thing that is like nobody knows about this, we did it as a bit of an experiment, but Febby and Kate and I put out this like passive income experiment in two ways. The first thing that we did was we launched an Etsy store. So it was an Etsy store with all kinds of business digital products. And it was all SEO optimized. So we'd have like webinar templates, lead magnet templates, all of those kind of things, well researched. We had all of these different branding options. We put it out there onto Etsy, and I think we had like one sale. And I think it takes the average Etsy seller 12 months to break even on their account. And it was just validation that passive income doesn't exist. This whole concept of like, put out a couple of digital products and it's going to be sweet, doesn't exist. The second passive income experiment, and nobody knows about these, like we just didn't share them. We did them as a bit of an experiment. 2024 across the board was a year of experimentation for us. We put out, so this is also my next fail, is robynbirkin.com. So my robynbirkin.com, my Pinterest account, we haven't posted to that all year for the life coaching / infertility account, has fluctuated at between 250,000 monthly views and, I guess like a couple of thousand clicks to, I think right now it might be at 50,000. And the only reason why I know is because it's the one that's logged into on my phone. So when I go to do my personal Pinterest, I see it. Haven't posted to it in forever, but it's still generating all of these views and clicks onto robynbirkin.com. Organically on Google, we rank for a number of search terms. And one of my goals for 2025 in Launch Easy Life, or it has been at the end of 2024 as well, is more of that peaceful lead generation. I am all for Facebook ads, game changer. They're 100% like a really valuable part of my business. Ditto organic Instagram. But I don't want to put all of my eggs in one or two baskets. So evergreen organic lead generation is a massive goal for me in 2025. So as part of that, we are increasing our organic rankings for Launch Easy Life to be able to generate. I want to generate by the end of 2025 around 200 to 300 organic leads per month into the business so that I'm not solely relying on what I feel are reasonably active channels, Facebook ads and Instagram. So back to robynbirkin.com. Organically, we rank. When my business was in full swing, we would have like 400 organic email leads per month joining my email list. Well, since I am not monetizing that business in any way, I shut down all of my lead magnets, I shut down all of my products. Could I have made money? Could I have still run my signature course? Probably, maybe, I don't know. So we launched this passive income experiment. If I had like thousands of website visitors every month still looking at the blog articles and downloading podcasts for robynbirkin.com, fine, I will put up a little, like $7, I think, collection of meditations and see what that looks like if the people on the website are being served this really cheap product. And I almost love this as a test to show my clients and to show you passive income just doesn't exist, right? You cannot just slap a product on your website and expect it to sell. I want to say that and it's been up for maybe like 6 months. Think of the thousands of people who are visiting my website every month. So let's say, I think there's like 8,000 page views per month still going to that website, to blog articles. And we put through my system, we were able to put this product on every single blog article. I think we've sold 2. Passive income doesn't exist. You need funnels, and every product that you have is almost its own product and it needs to be sold properly. So if I wanted to monetize that, we just did it as a test, and I'm not interested in pouring any effort or energy into it. So we're not going to do this, but it would probably look like a pop-up in multiple places on the website, putting a lead magnet call to action on there, maybe putting a tripwire, getting email subscribers, nurturing them with, like an evergreen nurture sequence. And I'm not going to do that because I don't want the email subscribers. It's not in me to support people in that way anymore. But you can't just slap a product on your website, have it on a few pages and expect that it's going to sell, because it's not. So the passive income experiment, it's not a thing. If that's what you are doing, is you're like, I created a website and I put products on it and just no one's buying it. Nope, that's not how you run a business, and you are doing yourself a disservice. I have a multi-6-figure business, had my most successful sales year ever. It didn't come from just slapping products on my website. It came from strategic marketing and funnels. So the next fail is robynbirkin.com. I've ummed and ahed all year about what to do with the podcast and the blog articles that are still there. And what is happening is it's like affecting my rankings on Google, or affecting the growth of Launch Easy Life, because, and like I typed into AI, like who is Robyn Birkin, it still comes up with all of the infertility life coaching stuff. And some of that's because I have all of these, like deep links back and forth, but I'm not monetizing that business in any way anymore. So watch this space in 2025. At one point I was like, do I monetize it? I'm like, no, I value having a simple business that works. So there's a part of me that wonders if that's the next chapter that needs to close. There's also been a lot of hard work that has gone into that. I purchased a domain and I was going to move all of the content over to that domain, but there's potential that I just need to close that chapter. So that's what I'm ruminating on at the moment. But I failed. I didn't make a decision, and indecision is torture. So that's where I'm stuck in terms of that business. And because I'm a human being that has feelings and cares about people, and especially cares about other women who are going through infertility, I see the value in people having that resource. But that said, there are a lot of other resources available to people now. So anyway, then the last thing, the last fail for 2024 was exercise. I've been failing hard at exercise since Olivia was born, and 2024 was no exception. There were many times when I sacrificed my usual exercise time to continue working, because it was a year of like a certain level of hustle and pivoting that needed to happen in order to, I guess, transition into this new business. So I worked really hard. Like, I hustled in 2024, and I didn't work nights, I didn't work weekends, I took long breaks, I've had school holidays off. So half hustle, if that's what you could call it. But that also meant that the level of exercise that I wanted to do and the level of consistency and strength training that I had hoped for just didn't happen. I'm now in 2025 in what I feel is like a space of stability and being able to really settle in and nestle into what I'm doing. I missed one of my fails, my biggest fail. Do you know what my other fail was? My course, Launch Easy Life. There's lots of reasons for this. One of these was I had, like a paid workshop that just didn't enroll as many people as I had hoped. And we've had really great conversion rates with the paid boot camp that we were running, like a 17% conversion rate in our launch in 2023. I had hopes that that would become much bigger in 2024, and it just didn't. And so I was quite disappointed in that, but also just in terms of my energy that I have, I feel very called to pour my sales energy. I still wanted to serve everyone who is in the program. So we're about to start doing monthly Q&A calls, but in terms of opening the doors again and selling, I really want to have that consistent, settled in messaging. I had hoped that Launch Easy Life would become like the entry point to then people would launch their course, get in there, do everything and then join the mastermind, like signature program, premium continuity program, exactly what I teach. The reality is that a lot of people who wanted to launch their signature programs ended up wanting to join the mastermind for that hands-on level of support. So in moving with and pivoting in the market, the mastermind is just now my hero signature offer and will continue to be that. And I love delivering it as well. So it's kind of panned out that way. I've just sort of gently leaned into where the success and demand lies. But I also see this as a wider conversation about what the market does and doesn't want. I talk about this in the Peace and Profit game plan. So just DM me on Instagram if you want a copy. But there's just really not a flavor at the moment, or much of a flavor, for DIY/self-study, which is a lot of what is in Launch Easy Life. So it's not on the cards to launch that program in 2025 or ever again, just because it's just not it for the market, and because there was also too much similarity between both programs. So I would count that as another fail. That was sort of the vision that I had for what would work. It just didn't work. So that's where I'm at. 2025 is literally all roads lead to the mastermind. If you want to work with me in 2025, really, that's going to be the way that you get access to my brain and direct feedback. We'll be launching, we've got the early bird intake happening right now for the March intake of the mastermind. If you would like details, again, just DM me on Instagram. I feel like that's going to be the easiest way, or check the show notes below. But in any case, I cannot wait to speak to you next week. Bye for now.
Another episode on the books. If you'd like to continue the conversation and get more super savable tips, come and find me on Instagram at Robyn Birkin. Otherwise, make sure you're subscribed, and I can't wait to see you next week.